Let's just ask each other the questions that maybe we always wanted to ask each other. What's up, you guys? It's your girl Amber, and I am sitting here with my boo.
I want to give you hugs. Come here, boo.
I have Laith I here.
Hey, what's going on?
I have been pressuring him to get his YouTube channel started, so Laith I has a YouTube channel.
Yes. Make sure you subscribe. I'm gonna start bringing out content, and I'm really excited.
And tell him in the comments below, like, what type of content you want him to do. And
so, for those who don't know, I'm sure not all of your followers know who I am. I'm Laith I.
Yeah.
I'm a trans man. I started my transition 7 years ago. Some of my photos went viral, and that's how I got to where I am today and got the platform that I have.
He's a model, he's an actor, he's an artist, a recording artist, activist. I always say, like, people are like, would you ever date a man? I'm like, I have a boyfriend. But also my brother, yeah. Like, let's get to know Laith, and Laith is also gonna ask me some questions. Let's just ask each other the questions that maybe we always wanted to ask each other, even though we talk about everything. If you could be in a threesome relationship with anyone, not even like a threesome, but a threesome relationship with any two humans, who would it be?
Rihanna.
I know! That's one of mine, I would say, too.
That's a tough one, because I tend to be more monogamous.
If I answer the question, it would be who I'm dating now, who Laith knows about, and Rihanna.
And we can all make
I know, like, let's just all...
How many women have you been in love with?
Ooh.
Like real love, like this is the person that you thought maybe you were gonna spend the rest of your life with, and like it was like really intense.
Twice.
Emotion. Okay.
Two. And like one possible. I feel like I was falling in love with someone, and then some factors happened and made me back up. So I would say 2.5.
Okay. 2.5. I'd say 2.5 as well. So like there were two that was absolutely, in my mind, I thought at the time of the relationship, I was definitely sure that they were the one. And there was one that I feel like was more like puppy love. I mean, we were compatible, but then we grew up, and it was like, okay, this isn't working, we should be friends.
You recently just discovered, you call it ace?
Yeah.
Asexual. Do you feel that way because times have been rough with relationships?
Yeah.
Or do you truly feel like you were disconnected? Because I
Like
seen you when you were drunk. I'm
right?
just gonna say.
I was just playing around.
You go from the shyest in the room to the flirtiest in the room with a couple shots of tequila.
You know, a little bit of peer pressure happened this night. A lot of bit of peer pressure. And I was like,
For
you know
real?
what? I don't do anything. I don't go out ever. And I had a really good time. I do get out of my shell more. I'm constantly in my head, and I do stop myself from being as open as I want to be sometimes. And I'm very friendly and very flirty.
Because I think I'm just being friendly, and they tell me I'm flirtatious. You told me that too. I'm like, really?
You're fine. And the
that's
swag
what I'm telling
and whatever.
you.
And it's just like, so as far as being ace, like there's been moments where I'm like, do I feel these feelings because I've been hurt before, or am I really disconnected in that sense? There was a lot of hiding. So in high school, I was like not comfortable with my sexuality, not necessarily comfortable in my skin. I didn't know what trans was, and I didn't identify as that then because I didn't even know that. I used to wish that I was a boy, and not knowing that I was, and I just didn't know how to describe those feelings. I didn't have the language for it. It was very separate from my sexuality. As far as my sexuality, I didn't really think about it at all. My focus was school and sports. So I played ball, and my friends, by the time they turned 15, 16, 17, they were like starting to date. I was the only one in my friend group that wasn't really dating, and they were like, so what do you like? Like, are you gay? Like, you know, they started questioning. Even my coach was like, what's going on with Ash? Like, you know, I was just like, I don't care. I had like a chip on my shoulder. I was like, I don't care.
That's my love.
Yeah. That's what I love.
Yeah.
Spalding.
Yeah, for real. I'm taking Spalding.
Like, this is where I had to really sit with myself, and I would think, like, when I was alone and at my most vulnerable, what did I like? And it was, what did I imagine myself as? Like, how did I imagine that at all? And it was usually, I would imagine myself as a cis male, and I would imagine myself with like the hottest girl in my class, for example. Or like if I was watching a series on television, like I used to watch One Tree Hill, I used to watch Smallville, I would imagine myself as the main character of those shows. You know, I kind of lived in that fantasy for a while. And then when I finally started dating, I was 17. It was after I graduated high school. It was that summer. I met someone through Downlink. Y'all remember Downlink? I'm probably aging myself. Remember Downlink?
I never had one because I couldn't be out enough. I was so scared.
And I met my first girlfriend. Like, it was like kind of a summer thing. I remember that experience being like crazy because I was like, whoa, I'm dating somebody. It almost felt like acting almost. Like, it's not that my feelings for her weren't necessarily sincere. Like, I wanted to get to know her. I wanted to experience what this whole thing that dating was that I felt like everybody else was experiencing. And I felt felt like I was so far behind. And I also, growing up religious, anything about sexuality was just bad. It was like forbidden. Even from that point, a lot of what my sexuality was, it was not about me getting what I want. It was about pleasing my partner only. And it was about that validation to be looked at as enough, despite me being different.
Do you feel like you were fully comfortable with them and like open and vulnerable? Because it sounds like you had a wall up to where you're like, oh, this makes more sense for me. I'm low-key scared to tap in, so I'm only gonna give this amount. And that's where the acting or role playing comes from.
I wouldn't say that. I think as far as the romantic relationship was, I think I gave what I could at the, I mean, I was 17 with you're a kid.
Yeah. But I was in love at 17.
I think that the sexual part was, I was so uncomfortable with my body. Like I was definitely like, touch me not stud. Like, as time went on, she asked and I was really hesitant, and I was like, you know what, I'll let it happen. But I remember when she like touched me for the first time, I wanted to throw up. So I was just like, stop, no. I was very disconnected. That relationship ended. I kind of went back in the closet. At this point, I had really long hair down my back. I had cut my hair. I'm in college with like wearing men's clothes with a buzz cut.
And you're a basketball player.
Ball player. And like,
if you weren't screaming gay.
There was some girls on the volleyball team. They came to like, hey, what's up? And I was like, I ain't gay. And I went running in the opposite direction. I was like, no. And it wasn't until my sophomore year, I joined the hip hop dance team and I started dating somebody on the dance team. That was my first experience using a piece. And that was like wild for me. I was like, I felt really complete, but that's also when I first started doing research on YouTube about who I was, and I came across like a guy that was documenting his transition. After I saw that, I was like, holy shit, that's me. I started binding. So I bought a binder, and that's when I was like 19 years old, wearing my first like binder. When I put on my shirt and it was flat, I was like, whoa, this is all I ever wanted. And I remember feeling that. It was an affirmation, like I wanted to be affirmed in who I was, but I also wanted to really please my partner and prove that I could be that man, if you will. There was a lot of insecurity there.
You said that you used to imagine yourself as a cis male and have the hottest girl. I used to all the time in high school. I wonder if anybody else feels that way. If you do, put in the comments below. And I think it's because I wasn't sure what a lesbian was, and so when I had an attraction to a girl, I just made it make sense in my head, and I'm like, envision me as the boy version of me that's able to go up and flirt with her in front of everybody at school. That's how I imagine myself being able to get with her, is only like if I turn into a dude, if I could be that, so it could be okay, so that my feelings towards her would be okay. So what do you think is the difference now, being comfortable in your body and who you are, and still wanting to reserve that?
There's no drive for me necessarily. There's just resistance. I think it's because since I came out, you know, publicly as a trans man and modeling and all these things, and it's like all people want to know is that everything is so sexually driven, and it's just like, I understand that I kind of sell that. Like a lot of my photos are a little racy. Maybe I have my shirt off, I'm like in my underwear, you can see all the print and everything, but that's a photograph, and you know, or that's a job, or I'm acting. When I separate that and I see folks around, it's really hard to distinguish someone that's authentically trying to get to know me versus just trying to hot. Or trying to experience or like have like just have me be like, oh, and not just like, oh, I had that.
Right, and I tried that.
And it's really weird, as someone that lived as a woman for 24 years, it's something that concerned me because of my upbringing, like, being like a lady and reserving that for yourself, and now like living as a man and really being in my truth, it's still there.
We talked about this like a week and a half ago too, because you came over with a very well-known trans woman, and we were all sitting there having a conversation, and we realized that each of us have been fetishized because people want to try something new, right? Because you're a model and you're hot, people don't know how to like keep them hands to themselves. And then like, because I've seen it in real life, taking him everywhere, I'm like, give him back. Like, what are you doing? Sometimes maybe being a well-known activist and model for the community, sometimes it makes people act weird towards you. You know, like that's what I always say, that lesbians are weird towards me. They don't hit on me. Like, we have the most awkward conversations. I don't know what it is. Do you think that that's how you feel for now, or when, because I'm also learning, you guys, or do you think that that's a thing that you feel set in stone? I
mean, asexuality is a spectrum. There's some folks that are like asexual but romantic, so they don't want to have sex but they can have romantic relationships.
Right, touchy-feely affections.
And then there's some folks that are aromantic as well. I think that I'm on the spectrum of both asexual and aromantic. I can't say for definitively whether or not I might meet someone tomorrow and be like, oh wow, well I threw that out the window. I highly doubt it. Being open to it would mean that I'm like actively seeking, and I'm not.
I know, and I'm such a bad friend because I'm over here like, you need some sex. Because I want to beat up every single one of your exes, yo. Let's be real. Every single time I hear a story, I'm like, yo, she treated you terribly.
I'm out here, I'm trying to get this money.
No, I know, you on it. I think that's a good balance with us too, because I play too much and then work, and then you work a lot and then play less, and I get a balance from you. You know what I'm saying?
Who are your biggest style icons? She's fly as hell. I always looking at her like,
really
yo,
not.
like let me get some clothes.
I like have really dope clothes, but I don't always feel like I can put it together correctly.
So
but obviously
like
wisdom.
Yeah, oh man.
I mean, wisdom is like, I'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, wisdom on IG.
Insane. Okay, let's say something happened one day and you had a one night stand with somebody. Maybe somebody that you already been with, whatever. So you wake up. Are you making breakfast or they making breakfast? And if you're making breakfast, what are you making? If they are, what are you hoping to get?
Oh shit. They're probably making breakfast because I'm gonna be in bed like I'm tired. I'm real like plain is just, you know, my diet.
I know, I've seen your breakfast
meals.
Yeah.
So I mean, some protein pancakes, some orange juice. I guess an omelet with veggies, so with spinach and peppers as well. Just a nice balanced breakfast. And
I just want to throw it out there that the last time I had somebody over, I made them protein pancakes, but I made it a fried egg, and I did it with some cilantro in it.
So I'm staying over.
Right, I was just throwing it out there. I usually am always the one that cooks.
Yeah.
My usual thing is I'm usually cooking, and I'm usually making avocado toast, some real nice whole wheat toast, and then I cut up the avocado good, and I put like this chili lime spice on it, and then I do my egg, and it has cilantro, and it's really bomb.
You don't have to convince me. Like, all right.
Okay. Because every time I have someone over, I want them to feel like they get the experience and like want to feel lucky enough to come back. You know what I mean? As reserved as you are, I am too. It takes a lot for me to even get to that sexual place with someone.
I think that we just make people feel comfortable, and they think that it's more than that.
Thank you guys for being here with us. Make sure you subscribe to Laith. All the information is down below, and there's so many videos to come. I'm gonna be on this one's butt, and then also we're gonna do some more videos, like literally be on a booty. We're gonna do some more videos together, so keep an eye out for that. And I love y'all so much. Stay amazing, stay proud, and stay woke. Peace. That was easy. That was